Last week, we gave you an up-close and personal example of how some are battling and winning the COVID-19 lockdown. This week, we want to go through how you can put this into action in this episode of Activate America, patriotically staying active during COVID-19 lockdown. Last time, we mentioned that we should know where there is support of liberty and freedom in your local area. Identifying this is key if you are to utilize the concept of nullification, which happens to be the only tool that has worked in lifting tyranny. Nullification is the act of ignoring an order, law, rule, regulation, order, edict, etc. of a higher level authority. Those who have been elected to positions of authority have an obligation to nullify anything that is unconstitutional. To determine this, you don't need a court ruling. Rather, you need to know the limitations of those creating the law, rule, regulation, etc. Plus, you also need to know that the basic function of government is to protect your rights, as discussed in the Declaration of Independence. If the law or order falls outside of the constitutional limitations or interferes with your rights, then elected officials are bound by their oath of office to protect your rights by interposing for their constituents. Interposing is when an individual or a group acts within their authority to nullify an offending order. For instance, when a county sheriff will not enforce an unconstitutional law, then that is an example of the sheriff interposing and defending the rights of his or her constituents. We saw many examples of this during the COVID-19 lockdown. An order or law that has no enforcement is merely a guideline with no teeth. All elected officials should understand this, but they don't. But when they see examples of others doing so, they may be compelled to act. And this is why we need to know if our elected officials understand this. If they do, then you have support for liberty and freedom. And the more of these officials that you have, the easier it is to stop tyranny from getting a foothold if and when that time arises. If you cannot find any support in your area, then it's time to build it. Pick the most likely authority in your area that has an interest in protecting the rights, liberty, and freedom of his or her constituents. Give that person examples of others in a similar capacity standing up and nullifying an order. TheNewAmerican.com is a good place to start. Then, share some educational materials about the basic concepts of nullification and interposing. These could include such books, booklets, article reprints, and DVDs as Nullification by Tom Woods, The Doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates by Matt Truella, Nullification, the Rightful Remedy by the 10th Amendment Center, and The Founder's Brilliant Solution to Big Government, Article 6, which is also the DVD or the accompanying booklet. And all of these are available from us at shopjbs.org. Help them learn these concepts by engaging with them in conversations on how they can use these constitutional tools as others have. Demonstrate to them that they have support among the community with these concepts. And this is a great action item for JBS chapters. To demonstrate this support, assemble an ad hoc committee that is interested in working with like-minded individuals to protect rights, liberty, and freedom in your area. Bill it as a way to stop and ward off tyranny. The committee should then plan and hold meetings, video showings, literature drop-offs at related events or at businesses or through booths at street or county fairs, gun shows, etc. Assemble a plan to have rotating groups of 2 to 3 individuals from the committee to visit these officials on a regular basis to discuss ways in which they can protect constituents. And there are plenty of opportunities right now with COVID-19. Designate members of the chapter and or committee to write letters to the editor of the local papers/online media to rally support for the idea. Have members get on talk radio to discuss these concepts as a solution to tyranny. Each time you have success doing any of this, forward these to the authorities that you are working on, as well as those that are on your side. Expanding your base of support now will pay big dividends in the future if and when you have to battle a second lockdown. Again, follow our plan of success, which is 1, educate yourself, 2, educate others, and 3, take action. Being part of a national program with full-time field coordinators located throughout our nation means you never have to do this on your own. Contact your local field coordinator to get started. And do this sooner rather than later. Links are in the video description. It's time we use the tools our founders intended us to use. You don't need a majority in your area to get started. Remember, you're fighting for the cause of liberty and freedom. Isn't that worth fighting for? Until next time, this is Bill Hahn for the John Birch Society saying, stay active, everyone.